Let me see. Mr. Mendoza, thank you. He says, my PC at my job is an Optiplex 990. It's an i5 2400, 4 gigabytes of RAM, slow hard drive. The minimum I need is 5 spreadsheets and 3 Chrome tabs. They won't replace it. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Hello and welcome to Byte Size Tech. I'm your host, Rogue, and today a word from our sponsor, Crypto.com, home of the Visa card that pays up to 8% in rewards and the app that pays you up to 14% annually on your crypto stake. Join more than 10 million users on the world's fastest growing crypto app as you trade with confidence on the world's fastest and most secure crypto exchange. Tech has more information and a special sign-up offer at the end of this video. What are you doing? Why are you pulling this up?
For his computer.
Oh.
Coconuts are very hard to shred.
Oh my.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
I kind of want to get one of these.
Ooh.
And a high-speed camera.
Ooh.
I could totally just make these videos all day long.
What? Ooh. Ooh. No.
That's awesome.
I would expect more to like jump out.
It's well engineered.
Oh my gosh. What's next?
That's shredded.
That is shredded. Coca-Cola bottles?
Wouldn't those explode?
You would think. Is that glass? Are they the
Yeah.
glass ones?
This is so cool. Oh! That's so awesome. Am I the only one here who thinks that's awesome? It really doesn't want to bite into it though, does it?
No.
It'll get it. It's just a matter of time.
Oh!
Boom!
Oh!
Boom!
I didn't know.
He has to help? Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah.
Let it run until it goes.
No. Oh! Oh!
Oh!
Oh! Dun, dun, dun.
That's tough glass.
That is tough glass. Ooh.
Oh.
Serious?
That's a waste of a perfectly good knife.
No. It
Oh,
spat it out.
no. Wow.
New channel at Tech Shreds. Wow. He chucked it in there again? No. Ooh. Oh, it went.
That was not impressive. That's a waste of a perfectly good knife.
That was a good knife. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Billiard balls?
Oh, that just makes a mess.
Oh, that's making a mess. Oh, it jumped out. Oh, look at it when it explodes. That makes a mess.
What a waste of perfectly good billiard balls.
Oh, no.
You like playing pool.
I do like playing pool. I haven't done it in a while.
They do just explode, don't they?
I used to do it.
I've never seen the inside of a billiard ball.
They're solid. The slow-mo is pretty cool. Oh, what's this one?
A CD reader.
Oh my gosh.
That's appropriate for our channel.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, it reversed. It got stuck.
It did get stuck. Got stuck on something.
Oh, wow. That just... I don't think that works anymore, honey. A boy?
Oh, that's an old boy. That's seen some sun, that one.
This is not... The shredder's not big enough for that.
No, we're not doing that.
Hey, honey.
Yes. Oh, a skateboard?
That's a waste of a perfectly good skateboard.
Oh, interesting. The wheels are not having a bar.
Oh, it jammed.
It did jam. Oh, interesting. They can.
It auto reverses.
Fry pan! No, not the fry pan.
Oh, you can see the smoke coming out. It's not powerful. Honey, we need a more powerful one.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
It didn't want to go. It met its match.
Oh, he's trying to pull it out.
I wouldn't put my hand near that. It's probably unplugged. Wow. Can you rent a shredder?
Like that? I don't know.
No, a perfectly nice bowling ball.
What?
Oh.
Whoa.
It eventually bites.
Yeah, but it's flicking it out.
The shredder's not big enough for this.
Ding, ding.
Somebody said that was a very cheap skateboard. That was sad. That was his last one?
Yeah, I didn't really like that, did it?
It just made a mess.
That did make a mess.
That was kind of... Oh.
Oh, they're going to squish it. Well, when a shredder... I wonder what it's going to take to squish that. Ooh. I wonder what it's going to do. Is it just going to crack?
It'd probably explode.
That is a solid piece of something in the middle.
Wow. That's
The car ones yeah, we've seen the car ones. That's a waste of it was a waste of a perfectly good.
I don't know.
All right, make sure it's muted.
The whole computer's muted now. Oh, Pepper. Okay, we need to do the super chats.
End poll.
I'll end the poll.
Okay. All right.
Wasabi says he's been skateboarding for 29 years. Yes, that's a cheap skateboard.
Oh my gosh. Hydraulic press channel. There we go. So, Mr. Mendoza, I don't know what to do about that.
About what?
5 spreadsheets, 3 Chrome tabs. And
Oh, we're still on that,
990.
yes.
So that's why you pulled that up.
I pulled that up because he needs to shred that machine.
Yes, he does. Yes, yes, he does.
You know what he needs to do?
Man.
Well, here's the problem.
It blows my mind that there's companies out there paying people lots of money to be unproductive. That just blows my mind.
I would tell your boss that he does not have to replace your computer and you'll use whatever you're told to use, but that you don't want to be held responsible for your lack of productivity because you're waiting for a 4 gigabyte of RAM system with a slow hard drive, and
5
you're not...
spreadsheets?
Do you want to work for that company? If they are so stupid and so incompetent and so broke that they're willing to pay you a salary to use that garbage piece of computer,
Ask for pay rise.
the productivity increase you'd get from giving you even a marginally better computer.
Then you'd have to do more work. But then you could ask for more money because then you'd be more productive.
Yeah, but it's... Not every employee needs a Threadripper.
No.
But that's the opposite end of stupid.
Yeah, but 5 spreadsheets and 3 Chrome tabs. He's doing some work.
An
And he
iPhone...
probably, what do you have, like a 21-inch monitor?
Nobody actually doing business using a Windows desktop for Windows desktop-y things should be on a second-generation Sandy Bridge in 2021. I don't care if you're just doing email. The speed of Chrome on an i5 2400 for work purposes is ridiculous. Businesses should be on a 3 to 5 year rotating lease on their computers and simply writing them off as an expense. And it's a monthly/yearly expense to maintain your computers. You cannot, as a functioning business, buy computers once and go, well, we bought a computer once. That's all we ever have to do. That's not how business works. And if you work for a company that is that useless, how secure is your job? Yes, I know there are some very large companies that are that useless and dysfunctional. I know. I've dealt with them. It's almost insulting. There's no excuse for using an i5 2400 as a business. Mm-mm. Your employee's time has value. You are literally costing yourself money. It would pay to upgrade the machine. The improved productivity and happiness of your employee more than pays for a new machine. A $500 basic modern computer would be enough. It irritates the snot out of me how ridiculous that is. I cannot tell you. Early in my career, back in the 90s, tech story time.
Go.
Early in my career, let me back up a second. I want to tell you a little bit about my early career because I actually tweeted this over on Twitter the other day. Name your first 7 jobs. I did name my first 7 jobs. And you know what my 7th job was? My first company I started in August of 1996. So I had 6 jobs before then.
Wow.
But my 7th job was hiring myself.
Oh. The sun went away. Well, now you can turn them back around.
You'll have to change the time then.
No, that's all right. I can do that. Oh, there we go. Let there be light. It's going to rain?
I got dark in a big hurry.
It sure did get dark in a big
Oh.
hurry. Careful! Lift your damn feet.
Do you realize if you did that, I would
Oh,
be...
you'd be so pissed. You're not paying attention. You don't care. And you've done it twice. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'll never do that again. What can I do to make it up to you? Would you please forgive me? Okay.
All right, hang on. Go.
What's his name? You need to scroll up so I can reference it.
You mean James?
James. James comes in with a comment/observation that I might have something to say about.
And it is his job, the PC that he uses is an Optiplex 990. It's an i5 2400 with 4 gigabytes of RAM and a hard drive. And he says slow hard drive. The minimum he needs up is 5 spreadsheets and 3 Chrome tabs. And he says they won't replace it. It's slow. I think we're retracting their gold stars.
Well,
I think it's time for the Papa Deals hat. Boss, let's take a walk.
James's boss.
Yes, James.
Let's take a walk. I have been in the PC space as my own business owner for 25 years. August of 1996 is when I formed my first computer company. I actually had a partner at the time. It was me and, well, actually at that time there was 3 other people, but the third person was only there for like 2 or 3 months and then they left. And so for 5 years, it was 2 of us running a business until the early 2000s. Before then, I worked at several other companies and I've been involved in the PC space since 1984. So I've been doing this a very, very long time. I learned a lot of lessons in the first 5 years in the space, and I met a lot of James bosses, and I didn't handle them right in the first 5 years. I did later on, but I didn't handle them right. And specifically, I remember one company in particular we did a lot of work for. Frankly, one of my bigger clients in the late 90s. In 97, about a year after we formed the company, I got my first big break. We did a lot of small jobs, upgrades, and fixes, maintenance. We did a variety of small things, but my first big client, installing 30 computers in an office, rewiring the office. It was a whole weekend job. It was $100,000.
Wow.
That was our big break. And I learned so much in that process that I totally would have done it differently the second time around. This company was a luxury home construction company, a mom and pop business, family owned. They worked here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they built luxury homes on a custom basis for wealthy clients. And they had maybe 25 people working in an office. They had 6,000 or 7,000 square feet of office space. They had a design center. They had a nice conference room where the clients would come in. They had, people in the back. They had a variety of people using computers, and their machines were ancient. Being first, I obviously remember it the best out of a lot of things that we did, because it was the big job that really got us going. It was the job that funded our company for the next 5 years. It was the one that really, because then I could always use it as a reference for every other job. I could say, oh, well, we did this and that. You kind of have to have your big break, and that was our big break. So we went in, and they were using a very old piece of software that had been written for them years ago. They've been in business a long time, and the old piece of software was running on 386 computers. This is in 1997, mind you. They were running 386 computers on a coax 10-base-2 network, and they had Wang terminal emulation software running on the 386s. They had a jury-rigged, ancient, 15-plus-year-old, almost 20-year-old piece of software meant for dumb terminals that had been adapted to run on 386s in DOS in 1997 on a coax network. And the reason we got the phone call from them, they had done nothing to their computers. They had no IT support, anything else. Bob in accounting, who was good with computers, was the guy in the office who had to make anything work if they wanted something to work. And they would literally, in 1997, if Julie wanted to print something, she would have to copy the file to a floppy disk and walk over to the computer that had the printer on it, because the printers weren't shared because everything was ancient. So all the technology was out of sync with every other piece of technology. So only like 2 machines in the office could print. It was awful. This is a company that was, in 1997, building $1 million homes. In any case, so the reason we got called was because it dawned on them that maybe, just maybe, their Wang terminal emulators on 386s was not Y2K compatible. You think? So they decided that it was time to upgrade, but the companies that had provided all their software were long since out of business. They had no support, no source code, nothing. And they decided they needed to upgrade. And so they started doing some searching, and they were upset when they discovered that there was nothing that would run on the 386s. Shocker, in 1997. And the Windows-based software that was available for the home construction industry was both A, expensive, and B, not overly demanding to run, but required new everything. They needed new Ethernet cables. They needed a complete, basically every single thing in the office had to be stripped out, thrown away, and replaced with 100% new. Now, I know this is a long story, but it is going somewhere related to James's boss. So I'm talking to them, and they're giving me the song and dance about how much their software is going to cost. It's tens of thousands of dollars for their industry-specific program. Because what they needed to do, because they were doing custom homes, is they needed to track all the expenses. They had a lady in the back who would actually cost out every job. The salespeople would, of course, yeah, absolutely, we can do that. Oh, yes, solid granite iron doors and fancy kitchens. And, oh, we can put in that Viking range. Oh, sure, you want 22-foot tall ceilings instead of 18-foot tall ceilings. Yeah, no problem. I'll add that to the thing. But, of course, that would all go back to, I'm just going to call her Janice in accounting. That would all go back to Janice in accounting. And her job was to figure out what all this would cost, because they had to price it. And so she would actually have to figure out, what the software would do is the software would figure out how many board feet of lumber, how many nails, how many estimated hours of labor. And then she would put all this together in an estimate. And then another person who actually worked on the jobs would just sort of go over it and go, does this make sense? They'd do a reality check and make sure that nothing was missed before it got presented to the client. Because once a contract has been signed and a deposit's been paid, the client expects the company to build the house for the price they said they were going to build it for. You don't want to get in a situation where the house is halfway built and then you come back and say, well, we need another $100,000. I'm sorry. That's a really good way to end up in court. So don't do that. With those kind of money, with rich people, you really don't. You need to be able to do it for the price you said. And so this ancient software needed to be replaced. And so I sat down with him and said, okay, you need to make a great leap forward. This is your opportunity to put in all new stuff. Let's put in good stuff. Let's put in stuff that will last you for more than a hot minute. Keeping in mind they had 386s. I do not remember what the CPUs in 386s were. They were function. I wish I'd kept one or two of them, actually. It'd be kind of cool at this point, but I actually think we recycled them. I don't even know if we sold them. I don't think they were worth anything. They probably had like 1 or 2 megabytes of RAM and, a 20 megabyte hard drive. They were late 80s 386s, not early 90s 380s. They weren't 4060X, 386DX 40s or anything.
And this was late 97 you're doing this?
This was 97. This is October of 97, I think we were doing this.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So, but they kept pushing back on price and pushing back on price. And the hardware we had worked up was going to be somewhere in the $35,000 to $38,000 price range. And then our time to do everything was going to be another $25,000. If that sounds like a lot, it isn't. I was making a bit of money on the hardware, but not enough, as I learned in retrospect. In fact, the conversation of my lessons learned in building custom computers for companies is an interesting journey that I spent several years learning how to do properly and why companies have to pay more than individuals do, but that's neither here nor there. So we probably had, I probably priced it with 10% margins in the computers. But by the time we actually did the job, I probably had 20% margins. Prices had changed. I'd found some better deals, etc. So, we probably made, $5,000 or $6,000 on the computers. But we had to build the computers.
Yeah, you did.
We had to build more than 24 computers, deliver them, get all the parts, do all this stuff. It was a lot of prep work before we actually showed up at the office. And then in terms of labor, there was myself, my partner, and 2 others spent 3 full days in the ceilings and in the walls, and that was the first and last time I ever wired a building for Ethernet. After that, I paid people to do it. I am not a get-in-the-wall kind of person. So, but I did it once, and that was good enough for me. So it took us a ton of time to get it, because we took everything down on Friday. They started cutting everything off early Friday, and it all had to be working Monday morning. And I remember Sunday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, it wasn't ready. And we were staying until 6 a.m. on Monday if we had to, because they had a whole office full of employees coming in who were expecting computers. And it wasn't a situation. The other mistake I made was we didn't leave them anything running. We just ripped it all out. What we should have done was done a parallel install so that if we weren't ready Monday morning, they could just operate. It was our first big job. You live and learn. So in the process of pricing it all out, it was in the mid $30,000 price range for this hardware. There was like 2 better computers and a bunch of cheaper computers. And if memory serves, the cheaper computers were AMD K5 75s. And those of you who know what that is knows that in October of 1997, those were kind of crap. They were like the very low-end entry-level chip available in 97. They would have been great 2 years earlier in 95. But by 97, an AMD K5, and we went with AMD because they were cheaper, obviously, and the K5s were always pretty garbage in their performance. But in speccing it out, I realized that they weren't willing to pay for longevity or performance. They cared about the number on the bottom of the invoice, and that's all they cared about. Get that number lower. Okay, here's what's so stupid about it. The price difference between a K5 75 and a K5 100 at the time was probably 10 or 20 bucks. Now, granted, times 25 computers is... But for a company with 25 employees building $1 million homes, that's a rounding error.
Yeah.
But they wanted the price lower. Fine. I can take 20 bucks out of every machine, and I can make them 75 megahertz
Crap.
K5s. We were back a year later. They realized, because, see, they're thinking they're old software. And we've got everything in, everything was running, and it was great. And it went remarkably trouble-free considering how little I knew at the time and how it was our first big job. It was remarkable at how it worked reasonably well. So, but they discovered that Windows 95 on an AMD K575 with, I don't remember how much RAM it would have had, but it wouldn't have been enough. And the hard drives wouldn't have been big enough. And none of it would have been big enough. I mean, it was literally the bottom of the barrel we could put together. They quickly discovered that things were slow. They were waiting on their machines. They couldn't run multiple programs very well. And so they've got, here's a thought. If they're just paying their workers $50,000 a year, and there's 25 of them, that's $1 million payroll. Actually, that's more than $1 million payroll.
That's a lot of money.
That's over, and in reality, some of those people were better paid than that. They probably had a $2 million payroll, and they're arguing over $20 difference on CPUs. James's boss, yes, we're still on James's boss, has the same problem.
Yep.
So we went back a year later, and we upgraded those. I want to say we upgraded them to K6 166s.
You could use the same motherboard and just put a different chip in, or did you have to?
No, we replaced the computers.
Oh, you were crazy. Oh.
It cost them another $70,000.
Oh my gosh.
We redid it all again.
Oh my gosh.
Because this time we put in Windows NT 4 servers.
Ah.
Everything was peer-to-peer networking with Windows 95 only the first time around.
You did it properly.
We fixed it. And the Windows NT 4 servers had real Intel, I want to say they were Pentium 2 somethings. The workstations were AMD K6 166s. And anybody who knows about that era of hardware will know, hopefully if you remember this time, just off the top, you don't even need a benchmark. The performance difference between a K575 and a K6 166 is monstrous. Not just the clock speed difference alone, but the per core performance alone. I mean, those aren't even in the same league. And then we put in a real Windows NT 4 server running, in that particular case, just to make sure that everything was 100% compatible. We insisted that it was an Intel chip, which was expensive, but it's like, look, you don't want to compromise on that. And that's when we insisted on battery backups for everything. We put in the UPSs. We didn't the first time around. And we upgraded the network. The first network we put in 1997 was a 10 base T. Only 10 megabit.
10 megabit?
Not even 100. They didn't want to spend the money. And there was like a $10 or $15 cost difference per computer because you actually had to install network cards back then. There was no built-in networking to the motherboard. And so we used the cheapest, crappiest garbage cards we could find.
Did they upgrade those?
Yes, we finally put in 3COM 10100 cards that were more expensive, both for the 10100 versus just 10, and they were 3COM cards. By this point, I started refusing putting in the junk because getting the junk to work was a pain. The 3COM cards worked first time every time. And, I remember my partner at the time talked about it, and we're like, our headache isn't worth it. We just need to start telling customers, you just have to do this. You could do this or you can pay us twice as much. But it's cheaper to pay for the good part than it is to pay us our labor rate to screw with it because we're not doing it for free. It took several years for me to find my voice, to be able to tell people like James Boss, well, you can pay for the computer upgrade or you can pay me twice what the computer upgrade costs to deal with it. You pick. I'll charge you lots of money if you want to be an idiot. And so we went back and we took out every computer we put in because they didn't buy enough. They were cheap.
Did you do the double parallel thing, or did you pull it all out and then put the new one in?
Oh, no, we did that the second time, yes. We didn't have to replace the cabling in the wall. The cabling in the wall was Cat 5. It was good enough for...
Okay.
We didn't have to replace it. So what we did is we brought in the new NT server, and we made sure it was running and copied over the data before we touched their existing computers.
Ha 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 ha.
We had learned our lesson. It was much easier the second time around because we were not literally ripping coax cable out of the wall and running new Ethernet with RJ45 jacks. I mean, that was done. We didn't have to change that.
Running out the Cat 7A and putting in fiber optic.
So, yes.
But anyway, so...
Buy cheap,
So how does
pay
an employee
twice.
get their boss to pull their head out of there?
You need to get somebody like me in front of them because at some point it becomes a dance. You have to take that boss on a journey. You cannot just sit down in front of the boss and say, you have to do this because I said so.
It
He's
has
not
to
gonna
be
listen.
their idea.
Right. You have to get him to have the aha moment where he turns to you and goes, we should really upgrade those computers. That's an excellent idea. You totally should. You need to get him to go, well, you mean I'll get... What you really have to do is get him to have this awareness. You mean I'll get more money if I do this? I can make the workers be more productive. I can expect more out of... Wait, I'm paying that guy $50,000 and I'll get 20 or 30% more productivity out of him by spending 10% of his paycheck. That means okay, so I'm going to make money. Yes. None of this upgrade should cost you anything. This is all basically profit.
It'll pay for itself.
It'll pay for itself. That's the whole point of business, is you spend money on things that pay for themselves and you make money. You want to try to keep the things in business that you spend money on that lose you money to an absolute minimum. That's how you go out of business. So yeah, we took out all those computers, and here's the funny thing. I actually made them a fair deal since we had just done it on the replacement machines, the K6 166s. I made more money taking apart and selling the parts out of the K5s that we had just installed a year before than we did selling him the new machines. And that's what got me started on eBay and on the used parts, because I suddenly discovered that there was real money to be made on used computer components. That's when I got into the floppy drive sales and some other things. Then I discovered, wait a minute. And so what we started to do is we started to send out flyers. We did a trifold thing that we would send out in the mail to local companies. Do you have any extra computer hardware? Do you have your old system sitting in the closet? That's wasted money. Give us a call. We'll make you a cash offer. Oh yeah, look, you've got 20 or 30 computers sitting in the closet. They're just doing nothing. Man, those are so old. I'll give you a couple $1,000s for it. There's $20,000 in the closet. But, they're not using it. They're not doing anything with it. They don't make any effort. They took all their old stuff and threw it in the closet, and it was wasted money to them.
Correct.
And by the end of 99, we were making more money from doing that than we were from new installations. And at some point in the early 2000s, that's when we stopped building computers, and I realized that calling Dell and ordering new machines was a better use of my time, because we would do build parties. We would set up the folding tables and actually we'd lay out all the cases, lay out all the RAM, CPUs, and everything, and we'd spend, several days building machines. What a horrific waste of my time. Mm-hmm. Call Dell. They'll have 20 computers on 3 pallets arrive in 3 days. That's no big deal.
Exactly.
So... to James's boss, you will make more money if you get James a better computer. The money you pay him is being wasted because he's waiting on his computer. You can expect more productivity and a happier employee. Spend $500, improve his productivity by 10%, and you make $5,000 in 1 year. And a new computer will easily last 3 years. So $500 potentially makes you $15,000. Do you hate your money? It's not a hard argument. Businesses that have ancient computers are brain dead. One of our moderators in our Discord works for a company that does this, and he does support for franchises of this company. Now, they're independently owned and operated, and they are literally running Core 2 quads in a business with retail employees who literally have to sit there and go, I'm sorry, can you wait for a minute? My computer's slow. Quads from 2008. How they are in business is beyond me.
Don't do that.
Do you have anything to add to this comment about James and his boss? James is fine. It's his boss that needs a stern talking to.
It's his boss that needs a long walk off a short pier.
He needs an economics lesson.
A time value lesson.
He's costing his business money
Yep.
by not getting James. I mean, even a Ryzen A Ryzen 5 2400G used would blow away his old computer with a 240 gig boot SSD. Even 8 gigs of
an
RAM.
SSD. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
James should make his boss use his computer. Unless his boss has a slower one or doesn't even have one.
Some people just don't know any better. Some
No,
people
some
literally don't.
They don't.
How people run businesses without understanding that time is money blows my mind. Anyway, that's my commentary on if you're cheap, you buy twice, and spending money makes you money if it makes your employees more effective. One of the pitches, last comment I'll make on that home construction company, was keep in mind, this was 1998 at this point because they went with, we had to put in new monitors, of course, but they wanted the cheapest monitors possible. Janice in accounting, not her real name, but Janice in accounting, who actually did the software and did the job costing on each of the homes, she's sitting there looking at a little 15-inch monitor. And finally, I sat down and I said, okay, she needs a 21-inch monitor. How much are those? Doesn't matter. She needs a big monitor. Now, this predated the multiple monitors. We really should have done multiple monitors, but we ended up getting them to spend, I don't remember how much it was. It's probably $700 or $800, which at the time would have been a lot of money for a monitor. One of those really large, heavy, 100-pound CRT 21-inch screens.
Oh, yeah, one of those.
But for somebody who's dealing with pages of numbers and lots of detail, first of all, she was not a minimum wage employee. She had been with the company for years and was probably the only person in the company who could really do the job. She probably deserved a raise. That monitor, easiest purchase decision ever from my point of view. But every one of those had to be argued.
Everyone.
I would like to say, final point. My main contact with the company was the general manager of the office. I do remember her name, though. She's a lovely, lovely lady. She was so friendly because she knew her boss. She'd been there for many years. She understood her boss and knew how to translate to her boss, which is probably the reason why we got the job and it worked in the first place, because I was able to be blunt with her, and she was able to then speak boss. She honestly probably helped me learn boss. Her name was Marilyn.
Okay.
And she was the general office manager. She was a normal lady. She was friendly, nice, just ordinary lady in an office from all appearances.
Right.
But she knew how to run that off. That basically, if she left, the company was screwed.
Oh.
The boss was the guy in the Mercedes with the Rolex watch and the big, huge wood table. And he had the office at the end of the hall, and everyone's office was normal, and he had the fancy office. He was the epitome of, if you think male 80s boss, think Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
He was that guy, and he would spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a plasma TV or a solid oak table for the conference room. But if you try to get him to spend $500 on something for one of his employees, well, you're just wasting my money. Hated those people. But I learned my lesson, and later on in my career, I eventually learned how to start putting my foot down to those people or firing those customers. Those people can be a pain in the butt. The reason that job actually wasn't that bad, and we serviced and supported them for 3 years. We kept going back there for a while, is the general office manager was always our contact, and she was a very friendly person who
got it.
She understood we were just there to do her job, and that I was not out to... Look, I'm just here to fix your computer. What do you want me to do? I guess we could argue, but I just want to, this is not complicated, folks. Okay, that's my final comment. How many of you have a Visa card that pays you up to 8% on every purchase? Crypto.com offers an amazing deal on their Visa card with cashback that is an unbeatable deal. No annual fee, no sign-up fee, no credit checks, no interest payments. It works just like a prepaid debit card, allowing you to spend your money anywhere Visa is accepted. But wait, there's more! Get your Spotify, Netflix, and Amazon Prime subscriptions 100% paid for by Crypto.com. You heard me right. Use your new Crypto Visa card to pay for your subscriptions and get 100% back in rewards. Earning 8% on your new Visa card is awesome, but how would you like to earn up to 14% interest on your crypto holdings? If you're holding crypto for investment, inflation protection, or price speculation, it can be frustrating to feel like your money is just parked. Yes, you really can earn up to 14% annual interest on your crypto, paid weekly directly to your account to spend however you like. The interest is paid in the same token that you're holding. So if you have Bitcoin staked, you earn Bitcoin. If you have Ethereum staked, you earn Ethereum, and so on. Flexible terms are offered, including zero lock, so you can withdraw your crypto anytime you like without restrictions. Or you can hold for 1 or 3 month terms for a higher rate of return. Of course, you can buy, sell, and exchange 100 plus cryptocurrencies with 20 plus fiat currencies using bank transfers or your credit and debit card at true cost. Crypto.com is first and foremost a crypto exchange. There is so much more to explore. I have barely scratched the surface. DeFi features including a private wallet with full control of your private keys, margin and derivatives trading options for advanced traders. Crypto credit allows you to borrow against your holdings with no deadlines or credit checks. Crypto NFTs allows you to explore the new world of non-fungible tokens. Crypto Pay allows you to pay any merchant with crypto and you earn up to 10% back in rewards. And that's not even everything they have to offer. If you're looking for the place to be in crypto, use our link in the video description below to sign up today. You'll get a $25 crypto sign-up bonus and 30 days of 0% transaction fees on credit and debit card purchases of crypto. It supports the channel and it gets you a great offer to get started in the world of crypto.